Good evening and welcome to Bear River Artworks. A little bit of a look at the yard and break area where we get ready for the day and get mentally prepped for those long glass sessions, take breaks for lunch, etc. I'll show you the studio. Here's the shop building itself. Got a swamp cooler up there. That's important for the summertime to make sure that we are not cooking too much inside. Come in here, I'll give you a look around. Let's see, this is a table we use for lunch and just congregating throughout the day during class, so on and so forth. This is the oxygen generation system. This is the heart of the studio. It's where our gas comes from, so we don't have to go buy it all the time. The kilns, which are important. There's one over there, a third one here, a small one over there. Lots of kiln access for everybody to be using. This is the teaching table here in the center. And you can see these small beginner torches set up to give you an idea of what a class setting might look like. There's room for 5 students around this table and the instructor right here. This is a smattering of my own work, as well as some from a student. This color here is the rod that's used to make the tubing that I have, layered with dichroic glass plating in big sections of tubing like that. I put into this machine over here. This is a glass lathe, and this is my new toy that holds the tubing horizontally, spins it for me while I heat everything up with the torch, pull it down with that vacuum pump and get all the air out, and then crank that wheel at the end there, and I can pull the tubing into long sections from that into what you see here. A few things that I've made. I do gold and silver fuming work primarily, which I'll explain in a bit. This is a gold and silver honeycomb pendant made from a piece of Marini. This is a cross section of a glass cane that's also made by stacking fumed rods in another tube and pulling it down under a vacuum. There we go. And polished on a lapidary wheel and then encased like that so that you can see it magnifies the image. There's another piece that I made using a faceting machine, and adding the facets gives a whole nother layer to the piece. And you've all seen this pendant. This is made with gold and silver fume and dots. This is a similar one, done a little bit differently, but the same technique. Marbles made by a student at my last class. The last class I hosted wasn't my class. And these are nice. Metal working station that is used by one of my resident artists, who I'll show you her station in just a second. Miscellaneous tool storage. This is where I break down the glass to put into the tubing. Here's my station over here and my torch. It's a little messy, but everything gets used a lot, and if I clean it up the first time I work, it gets right back to being kind of dirty. So I just sort of keep it at a dull roar, if you will. So this is all clear glass, just gold and silver fume trapped inside the clear to get that coloration effect, as is this piece here, all clear glass, just gold and silver fume there. And so I try to get a bunch of different pieces prepped up so that I have a selection of things that I can use when I'm making stuff. And smaller kiln over here. This is This is Roxanne's station. This is one of my resident artists, and so she's a soft glass worker. I work borosilicate glass, which is a harder glass that melts at a higher temperature. She does a lot of enamel work and a lot of work with Millefiori and Marini, like I do, but differently. She uses primarily color and a smaller torch, but the same brand. She makes all these wonderful beads that have an ocean theme, fish and stuff like this. So these stations, like there's one station here, we're getting ready to tile the whole studio, but there's one station here, there's another station here, another station here. So I have basically 4 against the back wall, and the teaching table in the center. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stations, plus room for an instructor around the teaching table. So this is sort of what a class setup would look like depending on what we're doing. And there's access to kilns for everybody to use. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have going on here. I'll open it up to questions. Thanks. Have a good evening.